Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today at the ABCs of Preschool podcast. I'm your host, Miss Amber. This one, this week, I'm not exactly sure what I'm sharing, but I just wanted to share my heart. And I hope I just give you all a little bit of encouragement. And I think I'm just going to be transparent today because I believe in transparency. I believe as humans, we are all on this human experience, learning, growing, failing sometimes, crying sometimes, laughing. There's so many emotions that come with the human experience. And I believe transparency is part of it. And people can judge me. People People will always judge you. People are always judging you no matter what. They're judging me, they're judging you. People are going to do what they're going to do. But today, I just wanted to remind all of us about gratitude and how important that is in our life. And it's so easy to get hung up on our failures. It's so easy to spiral because things are not happening the way we want them to happen, or they're not happening fast enough for how we want it to happen. But I think gratitude, if it is the center of our life, I feel as though we can do great things if gratitude is at our core. But reality is, we all struggle. We all struggle with self-doubt. We struggle with that little voice in our head that is telling us that who do we think we are? We are just a nobody. We struggle with childhood trauma, childhood words that have been spoken to us, ideas that were formed when we were younger. All of us as humans in this human experience struggle. And I think some struggle more than others. But I think if we can start our day with gratitude, no matter what, even if the night before it was one of your worst nights ever, I think starting the day with gratitude, with just a moment of thank you, I woke up to live another day. I'm breathing. Thank you for my health. Thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for my children. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my partner. Whatever it is, if we just start our day with gratitude, first thing, if we can go into a spirit of thankfulness, gratitude, I think it eases, lessens the hard. Hard is going to come at us no matter what. And those voices are normal. The self-doubt, the little voices that say you're not enough, I think is normal for a lot of us. But we either get to choose to stay in it or fight it and keep moving forward. Gratitude has really changed my life in a lot of ways. Even just having a morning routine. When you're in the weeds of parenting and motherhood, I didn't really do that when my kids were younger. I was just so like starting my schools, learning how to be an entrepreneur, learning how to be a mom, having another child and having another child and growing my schools and sports and just everything that goes on when your kids are little. There's so much that goes on that it's just every day feels like sometimes overwhelming. managing different schedules, different human beings that you're responsible for. If you're married, you have to be there for your partner too. There's just so much pressure when your kids are little. If you're working too, it's just so many days can feel overwhelming. So you might even be thinking now, okay, well, how do I even have time to stop to do gratitude? Like, how do I even have time to stop to do anything except survive every day? I think if I implemented things I've implemented over the last 5 years in my life when my kids were little, I think I would have been even a better mom. I think I was a really good mom, but there's days I lost my temper, my patience. I was just so worn out. I think too, if I implemented a lot of my daily routines that I have now when my kids were younger, would I have gotten cancer? I don't know. But I think it's really important to start your day with gratitude. Another thing I do is I start my day with journaling. And for years, I would journal like pen to paper, right? Like that's how I journaled for all of my life until recently. I just found there's apps, of course, on our phones that we could use. And it's called Morning Pages. And oh, I know it's awesome. It's so easy now. I just actually speak it, speak my journal entry in every day. I do think there's a lot of value with actually journaling, and pen to paper is really powerful. But I think taking a moment to write down what you're thankful for, write down the things that are happening, just puts life into perspective. Because I think so many times we are so wrapped up in the minutia of life, the things that I guess don't really matter, but feel like super important in that moment. And then that's where anxiety comes and worry comes and stress comes and these expectations that were not enough come because we're moving so fast through this life. And pausing to speak gratitude, write gratitude just reminds us, one, of all the blessings we do have in our life, even if it's hard. Two, how far we have come, how easy it is to forget how far we've come as a human and this human experience, right? If we look back 5 years or 10 years, like I look back 5 or 10 years, the amount of growth and the amount of things I've actually accomplished are like pretty impressive. But in the day to day, a lot of times I could just get so wrapped up and so in my head. And that's where like the darkness comes in. That's where like life becomes too hard to manage. So I just want to encourage you guys today to really starting your day with gratitude and even taking it a next step. So something I did with my kids for years, and we still do it a lot at dinner when we all are together, and how precious that time is because they all grow up and it's really hard to get them at a dinner table when your kids grow up. But something I used to do at night with my kids is we would do thank you fours, it was called. And all of the kids, would say what they were thankful for that day. And I just think it's such an important practice to implement that in our kids, to give our kids coping skills to manage this crazy thing we called life. But we have to have the coping skills first to then give our kids, right? Like lead by example, like we talked about a few weeks ago. But gratitude, if we can live in a spirit of gratitude every single day, I feel as though life can be more joyous because you're so grateful for. I mean, it could be the simplest things. I'm so thankful that I have legs that I can go walk. I am so thankful for us that have clean running water. Do you know what a blessing that is. I am so thankful for clean running water. If you don't even know where to start because you feel like your life is so overwhelmed right now, overwhelming and so hard, start with the basics because that list will grow more and more as you realize how many thankfuls you have in your life. And journaling every morning, I really encourage like this morning routine because it really has changed my life. It really has made so many things come to fruition. Um, I've struggled. I've been struggling. Here's where I'm going to be transparent. I have been so struggling lately over the past few months, really of the voice of doubt in my life. And when you're trying to go to another level, or if you're trying to take your career in a different path, if you have a dream and you're trying to accomplish it, we want the achievement faster than it comes sometimes. And it is not easy to be an entrepreneur. It's not easy going after dreams sometimes. It's not easy taking chances on things. It's not easy just to do things for passion. It's not easy to walk a path sometimes, a path where you feel in your soul you're supposed to walk. It's not easy because sometimes it takes a really long time to see the fruits of your labor. And that's where self doubt can come in and feeling like a failure can come in. And I'm going to be honest, I've been feeling like that for a few months. And I just kind of went really back to my morning routine and starting in gratitude. And it really centers me. Gratitude, listing what I'm thankful for, journaling. And the third thing that I encourage is getting help when you're struggling. It's okay to talk to someone, it's okay to get help. And I was reminded recently how powerful our words are. Our words are so powerful. And I think we don't realize how powerful our words are. If we speak constantly a negative, oh, I don't know, I'm so poor, or I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, or I don't know, whatever it is, but if we constantly speak the negative, it's in the universe. And I am a firm believer what we speak is what happens. Because what I've seen in my own life, something very powerful, someone told me a long time ago, things may not be exactly where you want them to be at this moment, but start believing it, start speaking it, and start feeling it. When your brain believes it and thinks it, and your heart starts to feel it, and you start to speak it, things will come true. I've seen it in my own life, like powerful things. In my darkest of darkest moments, someone told me, you speak what you want to happen. You speak it out loud. And I remember I wrote down four things about 5 years ago, four things. And every day I would speak it and I would believe it and I would try to feel it, even though it wasn't really happening and it really wasn't true because my life was in shambles. But I was speaking out a beautiful life. And four very specific things I would start speaking out. I wanted to believe it. I spoke it like it was actually happening. I had gratitude in my heart like it was actually happening. Although what was actually happening, my life was completely in shambles. But let me tell you, in about 4.5 months after speaking it, being in a state of gratitude and speaking what I wanted my life to be as though it was happening, my life turned into that. And I am not kidding you. It absolutely all those things came to pass before, and I really believe it's because I was speaking it. I was in a state of gratitude and I was believing that this was my path and that I was going to have these things. And it happened. So when you're in the rush of parenting and motherhood, I so wish I had these tools and this morning routine and the knowing of our words are powerful, like so powerful. We need to start speaking what we want. We need to feel it. We need to see it. Because if we keep speaking the negative, we're going to still be in that negative. And it's so important to be examples to our kids and include them on things and include them in the gratitude time, include them in the thankful time so they can have those skills to help with life because life is hard. It's not easy. Life is beautifully freaking messy. But if we can start our day with gratitude and maybe even end our day in gratitude, even in the dark, I think it could help us all. It's helped me in my life. It really truly has. And it puts things in perspectives. It helps to realize that so much of what happens in our day to day is not important. It's just not. I mean, if you've had cancer or if you've lost someone close to you, you understand that life is so fragile. And I truly believe there's power. I have been struggling lately. And so I've gone back to the roots, gone back to the basics with my morning, my journaling, my gratitude, and speaking what I want, believing it, feeling it, and knowing in my heart it is what I want. I'm speaking it out loud over and over and over because I have been speaking so much negative in my brain. I haven't really been speaking it out loud, but in my brain, I have been on a cycle of what am I even doing? Who am I? And I am just a failure. That has been a loop of mine for weeks. And you have to make an intentional decision to change your story, change your life, change that loop. You've got to make it intentional. And so it is powerful. I've seen it in my own life. And I don't go into detail but let me just trust me. I've used these techniques 5 years ago and my entire life has changed. Like I have the most extraordinary, wonderful life, but I started speaking it. Financially free, like that was one of them. Relationship with my kids was one of them. Finding the love of my life was one of them. Travel was one of them. All of that has come to true. It's come to pass. But how easily I could forget and go back to old patterns and old stories. And so now, today, and the last week, I am speaking out what I want next in my life. I'm speaking it. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to believe it. And I'm going to speak it out loud because no more negative. Life, social media is already so negative. Why do we want that in our life? I don't. If we can stay in a spirit of gratitude, even in the hard, there's always something to be thankful for. I don't know if that encouraged you. That's just where I'm at right now. So I encourage you to speak out the positive. What do you want for your life? And be in a spirit of gratitude every single day because there's so much to be thankful for, even in the hard. Remember to wish it, dream it, do it. And thank you for joining me on the ABCs of Preschool podcast.